Hello everybody, in today's video we're going to be going over how I made this animation with the scales being animated to match Godzilla's going into explosion mode. So in this tutorial it's mainly going to be about texture coordination, how to animate textures based on like an empty that I'm using here or any object you want. And the notes to it for this is actually quite a little bit of an intermediate thing, but I feel like this will help many of you guys' projects, mainly because most of the people that ask me to work with them and help them, this mostly fixes most of their problems. So that's what I'm going to be going over today. So in order to do that, we're going to start from mostly completely scratch. So I'm going to go ahead and delete the setup I have here already. So we're going to go ahead and delete this and this also part. Okay, and we're going to be going over to I got this model of Godzilla from Sketchfab. I'll put the project files links in the description below. I am running through Eevee because I like the way this looks with bloom and ambient calculation and stuff like that. That's the purpose. This also works in cycles as well. But the reason why I'm choosing to do Eevee and it's because how quick it is. So I'm gonna go over here and set it off right here. So once again, just going over and then just removing this so I can show you guys that we're going completely from scratch. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do after you have everything set up is you're going to want to make sure you have an empty made that you want. So we're going to go like here. So for me, I'm going to just create an empty right now. So we're going to go into Shift A, click empty, and then I like to use the sphere. So let's put that into position. So I got the sphere in position right here, and then now you want to select the where you want the textures to go to. I literally had to go in and select all these scales that I want and then just separate them. But if you download project files, they're gonna be in the description. You don't have to do that. You can just go in the project files in the description and follow along. But so what you want to do is you want to grab the part of the model where you want to animate, and you go into the textures of that model, and then the first thing you want to add is a texture coordinate node. So you're going to go to texture coordinate, and then for the object you want to use the eyedropper tool and select the empty you just made. It's called empty2. Let's rename that real quick. I like to keep my stuff organized, so I'm going to put this to scales change, just to kind of make it a little organized for me. Okay, next thing you want to do is add in a values node. So we're going to go ahead and drop a value node, and we're going to change the value to 0.160. So now we have the texture coordination to scales, and then the value to the 1.6 or 0.16. And then next thing you want to do is going to have to be drop a separate XYZ node. This will allow us to separate the object, the coordination. So we're going to grab in a object right here and connect to the vector. Let's go ahead and move these textures out of the way for now, because we are going to need those because we're changing from the main textures of the model to the new textures we're going to add. So now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to add in a multiply node. So to add this, we're going to add a math node, and then change add to multiply, and then put the value into the first value part, and then we can collapse this down because we don't really need that out everywhere. Now we're going to add in a map range node. So map range right there, and we're going to plug in the XYZ, we're going to plug in the Y to the value node, we're going to plug this into from minimum, and then the multiply node to from maximum. Next we're going to add a color ramp in here, so go ahead and grab a color ramp. You're going to want to drop this second one down here all the way to black as well. Before doing that, you want to drop one in the middle gray, drop them all down to black, and now you should have this one with gray one in the middle. Perfect. Add the results to the vector, and now you're going to want to drop you're going to want to drop in the new material you're going to want the model to be. So mine's an emission. This is the material that's going to be changed into after the empty exit. So this one's going to be blue, and I like to have an emission around 5. So this is going to be the second material that's going to be revealed after the empty crosses its path, and then the first material is going to be this one. So we're going to put this one right underneath it, and we're going to remove that. Don't mind that for now, just because we moved the material out. But okay, So next we're going to do is we're actually going to be putting in a mix shader node. So click Shift A, put a mix shader, and you're going to want to put the emission on the top and then the base material, the first material on the bottom. And then you're going to want to add in this result from the map range node into the factor. Okay, next thing you want to do is you're going to add another mix shader node. So we're going to drop that, and then we're actually going to drop this shader into the first input and the color from the color ramp into the factor. And then we're also going to add in another principal shader node. It doesn't matter what texture it's going to be, just follow along. This is going to be a color ramp. A simple color ramp to the base color, and then a Veroni texture, and we're going to put in the distance to the factor, and then we're going to drop this one into the second shader in there, and then finally we can add in the material output node into the surface. Here we go. So my mistake, guys, you're going to want to put the emission on the bottom and then your base texture on top. So the first texture goes on top, the second texture goes on bottom. And now if I move this into position, it's going to start changing the scales colors. So now what you can tend to do is you can click on I and put a location keyframe. Let's see, go to the first frame right here. And then what you can end up doing now is you can go into skills and grab the first frame, click on I, location, go to the frame you want the animation to stop, which is 20 for me. I go ahead and move it to its all the way out, and then click I, location again. So now if I play this through, it will animate the textures. Like I said, guys, this will work for all your textures. Just make sure you, instead of pushing like an emission, you can put in any other texture you want to reveal. The project files are going to be in the description below. So I just wanted to make this tutorial real quick so it's out there and people can use that as well. Like and subscribe, and thank you.